This is the story of the prodigal son, a lesson on forgiveness, love, and redemption. Stop scrolling and take a moment to hear a life-changing tale. This is not just an ancient story. It is your story if you've ever found yourself lost, broken, or longing for a path back home. Once upon a time, in a serene village nestled among the hills of ancient Israel, lived a wealthy farmer and his two sons. His farm stretched beyond the horizon, and his household was known for their abundance and generosity. However, in the midst of this idyllic life, tension grew in the heart of the younger son. Day and night, he dreamed of the world outside, its freedom, its grandeur, its glittering possibilities. With a restless heart, he approached his father one sunny morning and said, "Father, give me my share of your estate." In their culture, asking for this inheritance while the father was alive was akin to saying, "I wish you were dead." And yet, the patient and loving father granted his son's request. He divided his wealth, giving the younger son his part. Was this wise? Perhaps not, but the father, in his unconditional love, let him go. With his newfound riches, the younger son set out for a far-off land. The lands he ventured to were indeed full of wonder, but dangers lurked just beneath the surface. He spent his money without care, indulging in parties, feasts, and companionship that dissolved as quickly as morning dew under the sunlight. Day by day, his inheritance dwindled, until nothing remained. Then came a famine in the land. Food became scarce, and those who once toasted to his success turned their faces away. Broke and destitute, the younger son found himself working for a local farmer. His task? Feeding pigs. This was rock bottom for any Jewish man. Pigs were considered unclean animals, and here he was, not just touching them but longing to eat the husks they fed on because he was so desperate, so hungry. Sitting among the swine, he had a moment of clarity. He said, "How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.'" Indeed, he had fallen far from grace, bankrupt in spirit and broken in pride. But he finally knew where to turn. So, with a heavy heart but a newfound determination, he set out for home. Along the way, he rehearsed his speech over and over again. "Father, I have sinned. I just want to be one of your servants." Pay attention here. He was returning not expecting to be a son again, but simply hoping for mercy, for a second chance as a servant. He had no idea what awaited him. From afar, his father saw him. This wasn't a coincidence. This wasn't the father just happening to stroll by. The father had been watching, perhaps daily, longing for his son to come back. When he recognized the shadow of his beloved child, he didn't wait for him to arrive. Instead, he did something remarkable for an elder in his culture. He ran, abandoning all sense of dignity, tears spilling down his cheeks. The son began his rehearsed apology. "Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. But before he could finish, the father interrupted him with an embrace so tight it spoke 1,000 words. He shouted to his servants, "Quick! Bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." The celebration was immense, but not everyone rejoiced. The older brother, hearing the music from the fields, grew angry. This wasn't fair, he thought. He had stayed, worked hard, and never disobeyed. The father went out to him and explained, "My son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate because your brother was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." This story is perhaps one of the most profound teachings of Jesus. It's about God's love for humanity, A love so great it defies human logic. It's about you and me, our mistakes, and the unrelenting grace that welcomes us back, not as servants, but as beloved children. So here's the question. Are you the younger son, lost and longing for your way back? Or are you the older brother, struggling with resentment and self-righteousness? Either way, the Father's arms are open for you. If this story touched your heart, share it. Let its message of forgiveness and love resonate with everyone you know. If ever you feel far from grace, remember, you are never beyond the reach of the Father who runs to meet you. Bible Namshar Jesus, God, Jews, Christian, Christianity, faith.